Evening, folks, and welcome to a very special Easter Sunday edition of Audio Who. And tonight we have gathered to discuss a somewhat 4-hour-long art box set entitled The Worlds of Doctor Who. You have various worlds colliding here as a sinister music box coined with the nursery rhyme of Ding Dong Bell, pushes in the well, wreaks havoc across time and various points in space. What did we think about this one? Various characters you may be familiar with, some other characters you may not be familiar with, and it all comes together in a climactic crescendo which has to be unravelled by Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor at the end. Well, you're about to find out what we thought about this, but before we get to that, let's get to this. It's your panel for this evening. Joining us this evening is my wingman and my fellow recorder for this evening in light of Texas Tim's absence. It's Jason. Jason, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Doing changes in life at the moment.
Excellent. Yes, the clocks have went forward an hour here in the UK, and I'm irritable as hell because I lost an hour's beauty sleep. Damn. Oh well. Joining us for the Orchard Dales, it's Mr. Lee Wilson. Lee, how was your weekend, mate?
It was bloody marvellous, Graham, and we've still got tomorrow to go.
Exactly. You can't be a long weekend. But at the point, unless you work for an agency, you get paid for it. Yeah, there you go. And joining us from Germany, it's the Beef Dad. Jeff. Good
evening, Graham.
Good to have you, sir. Good to have you. As mentioned, hopefully Texas Tim will join us later. He's otherwise detained. Hopefully it's no Mr. Reese and his hypnotic tricks. So yeah, guys, The World of Doctor Who. This was a special edition release to commemorate the 15th anniversary at Big Finish Productions to give you listeners and you customers and clientele a taste of what their ranges were and what they offered. You had a story from Jago and Litefoot, a story from the Countermeasures team, a story from the U.N.I.T and the Tales from the Vault team, and a combination story to round it off with Gallifrey and, of course, the Doctor in the guise of Colin Baker. We have the sinister Mr. Reese, a hypnotist who seems to be causing havoc across time and space, all because he was mad at his pappy. Sounds like a pretty dumb reason, but it really is more psychological than that. So where to begin with this? Okay, story number 1, Mind Games. Jago and Litefoot. Jason, can I get your opening take on story number 1, please? Mind Games. Jago and Litefoot range.
I actually like this one. Jago and Litefoot are definitely great characters. I definitely enjoyed their performance on this story. Definitely worked quite well with them going into some kind of stage, magic stage or some kind of mind stage or something, but definitely worked well with it. I got a little bit lost for us to try to figure out what's going to happen here. I mean, there's been some strange deaths going on, and I guess there's this guy having a dream of him killing a woman, and then it leads into a way I thought some kind of like hypnotizing voodoo going on over here at the moment. But the show kept building its way up, and to the point of starting to slowly explain who this showrunner is, who ended up being Mr. Reese, who ended up being a pretty interesting villain so far. And yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this one.
Excellent, buddy. Lee, Benjamin and Baxter at their finest here. What do you reckon?
Well, I can't fault Jago and Litefoot. I mean, I haven't got many of their series, but I've heard a few of them. And they were brilliant back in the 70s in the Talons of Wayne Chiang. And whoever thought of them, let's give them their own audio series. Top marks to them.
Excellent.
Yeah, the actors, it just it sounds like they've never been away. It's brilliant. It's funny, and for me, the setting of Victorian London is ideal. Is ideal for these sort of stories, for Doctor Who as well. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. To start the box set off with Man Games, it was a brilliant start to the box set.
Excellent, mate. Yeah, Jago and Litefoot really have had a lengthy run. They're absolutely fantastic, and they've even had a current run-in with everyone's favourite, well, maybe not everyone's favourite potato, but hey-ho. That's big finish for you in the extender license. Okay, Jeff, your first run-in with Jago and Litefoot on audio, obviously, because you weren't here to join us for Justice of the Jacks, I don't think. Opening thoughts, mate?
Oh, I love them. I think they're brilliant. I mean, I remember them way back in the original series, and they were good then. They haven't lost it. That chemistry is still there. They are brilliantly funny together. And that wonderful moment where they're using the wax cylinder to record the information is just, it's got to be one of the funniest scenes ever written for two Doctor Who characters. It just really is absolutely extraordinary. But yeah, Reese, the mentalist, brilliant, really, really good. I had a feeling right from the beginning that the music box was pivotal in the whole. Which is quite good. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one. As Lee says, you cannot beat something set in Victorian London.
Excellent. Yeah, for me, Jago and Litefoot, absolutely phenomenal. You've got the Victorian setting of the backdrop of the gruesome murders under hypnosis. Just an excellent plot device. Shout out also must go to Lisa Parriman in this. Most people know her as Professor Benny Summerfield, but as Ellie Hickson, she's absolutely bloody fantastic, and she's created a secondary character of her own, much similar to Katie Manning has with Irish Wild Time. So, you know, good stuff here, and you can't beat the old Cockney Victorian London barmaid, so good stuff. But yeah, the two leads, absolutely phenomenal, and a good introduction to Mr. Reese and the events of what's to come. Grand old stuff. Mind Games, any events, characters, or instances within the story that stood out for you, lads? Lee, can we begin with you on this one?
Well, as I say, it's Jago and Litefoot. It's just the chemistry between those two, just the funny moments, you know, when Professor Lightfoot's talking about the female companion or whatever, and of course Jago thinks he's talking about him and all like that. You know, his cowardice shines through everything. Yeah. I just love that. It's just well written. The I can't remember who the author was now for this one, but I've written so well for the characters of Jago and Litefoot. Brilliant. And I have to give a big thumbs up to Jamie Glover for his portrayal of Mr. Reese.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. I mean, the son of Julian Glover and Isla Blair.
Yeah,
so some pedigree in acting there, I suppose. But yeah, very, very, very good villain. I just love the atmosphere of this story, and it just, you're listening to it, you was just thinking, going back to the Talons of Wang Chiang, you know, the horse-drawn carriages. I just loved all that. It's a top-notch story for me, this one.
Fantastic. Jason, how about you?
Well, there's nothing to complain about the story. I mean, Jago and Litefoot, definitely top-notch characters. Definitely enjoy what they did. I mean, nothing disappointing about them. Always funny. Yeah, the story worked out well. Story, I was pretty much, mind blown and also enjoying the story. This story's definitely worked out pretty great. I definitely loved it.
Excellent.
That's all.
Jason was mind blown by the Mind Games. Nice. That's a good anecdote for you on a Sunday. Jeff, anything stand out for you, or any dislikes, or anything you can pick up on?
Oh, it was extraordinary the way the atmosphere of the whole thing pulled you in. The recreation of the theatre, the actual theatrical performance, was just brilliant. The sound and the way sound works in a theatre was done brilliantly. That was really very, very clever. Then, of course, you had the out in the streets, and that too. I could feel the fog and that sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Although there was no fog really mentioned, I could feel it. I could feel the Victorian fog and the foggy London thing. It was just an extraordinary sort of bit of creating. As you say, the performances, there wasn't a single weak performance in the whole thing. Everything fitted together like a perfectly manufactured jigsaw. It was brilliant.
Stupendous, mate. Good stuff. Myself, well, atmospheric, eerie. As Beef Dad alluded to, you know, you could see everything being played out within your mind's eye with regards to the fog and all that. And technically, the only thing missing was Jack the Ripper, in my opinion. Just to add a wee bit more cynicism to it, you know. But yeah, the lead's phenomenal. Well, so he's alluded to Jamie Glover. I mean, he's been in and out of a few stories over the past, I'm not sure if it's the last decade or the last 5 years, but he's been there and thereabouts with regards to Big Finish in terms of the radar. They keep asking him back to play various roles, so he must be doing something right. So kudos to him for Mr. Reese. And just the whole aspect of the hypnotism and you believe that they're dreaming when these attacks or murders are taking place. Very good, you know, very, very good. And the other thing I liked was any time that Lightfoot's in his morgue, you know, I just love the way he offhandedly says, you know, just pop him on the slab there and just fud it down. Right, let's get some dissecting done here, you know. Doesn't it faze him one bit? And I'm sitting there going, you know, for the late 1800s, that's a bit morbid, but there you go. You know, especially with the implements and tools they probably had to use back then. But if you're a professor in that field, go you. So yeah, guys, all in all, really enjoyable. Excellent start to the box set. And we're off to the races. Ding, dong, bell. Yeah, Pussy's definitely in the well. Excellent. And from the 1800s, or the late 1800s, we flash forward. Mr. Reese has seemingly met his untimely demise. You know, into the well he went after various attempts of mind manipulation. And we flash forward to the 1960s to a tale with the Countermeasures crew. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with them, the Countermeasures folk were the personnel aiding and abetting, shall we say, the Seventh Doctor and Ace in the 1980 story Remembrance of the Daleks. They deal in the supernatural and the unexplained, as is the case with a lot of these organisations. So it's the 1960s, and there's an institute being opened by a brother and sister duo. There's various aspects of training being done, and more sinister murders taking place, be it politicians, be it high-ranking lawyers, and the countermeasure teams is brought in to investigate. So where to begin with this one? The recent project, Beef Dad, the only outings with these guys you would have would obviously be Remembrance of the Daleks. Can I get your view on Countermeasures, please? Story number 2.
Got it. Well, it had its moments for me.
Yeah.
It didn't grab me as much as Mind Games did.
Okay.
But then I've never been a big fan of these places where they fiddle with people's minds.
Brainwash, yeah.
Or whatever, yeah. And, you know, basically what they did was they were training people up to go out and murder people. normally the ones that were above them, so that they would then have somebody who was controllable in a position of authority. It's the basis of an awful lot of stories.
A bit more political, this one, so I figured you might struggle with this one, especially if you weren't familiar with the range. So, you know.
So to me, it wasn't a wildly original concept. Should we just put it like that?
Okay, fair enough. Well, as we always say, folks, it can't always be singers. Lee, how did you struggle? Well, maybe you didn't struggle, but how did you go with this one?
Well, I do sometimes struggle with political stuff in stories. Yeah, there is a process. I'm not knocking any of the acting. I think Sam Williams brilliant.
Yeah,
I love Pamela Salem. Is it Salem or Salem? I don't know.
Salem. I think it's Salem.
Salem. I mean, it's just lovely to hear her voice again. And Sir Toby Kinsella.
Yeah.
Hugh Ross. Now, I know his voice from somewhere back in my childhood on TV. I just don't know where from. And I haven't done my Wikipedia searching on him. So if anybody out there wants to tell me where Hugh Ross...
Yeah, leave it a comment. Yeah,
It's just that I'm thinking back in the 70s. I know his voice from a kids program or something. But anyway, that's besides the point. The acting is brilliant. For me, this doesn't grab me. I don't know, for some reason, whoever thought the Countermeasures team would make a good audio series doesn't work as well as Jago and Litefoot for me.
No.
I mean, why have the Countermeasures when you've already got U.N.I.T, what is really doing the same sort of thing? So I mean, it's not a bad story, but as Beef Dad said, this one just doesn't grab me. For me, personally, this is the weakest of the 4 stories for me.
I agree with that.
It's not a bad story. There's it's worse out there, but it's not a top one for me.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Jason, if Beef Dad struggled with this, you must have been lost in the forest like a little Red Riding Hood trying to escape for the big bad wolf kid. What do you reckon?
Actually, I was lost in this one.
Yeah.
I did not really pick up too much on this story. I mean, till the end of it, until when they mentioned the music box, like that's when I started picking up on it. Just about with the characters with Allison, what was going on with Horn, and what happened with Stephanie being controlled by Mr. Reese, and how I knew it was like, well, this is going to lead into what happened to Jago and Litefoot again. And I don't know, this story didn't really do too much for me. I mean, just besides what happened to the end of it, I mean, this one did build up, nothing really much. I mean, the characters, I had no problem with Captain Gilmore, Allison, and the rest of the crew. I mean, they definitely did a great job, but this story just wasn't for them.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Yeah, you know what? I agree with Lee. This probably is the weaker of the 4 in the set. Nothing against the 4 main leads. The story wasn't exactly, hard to follow. It was just, I don't want it. It was more, there was more politics involved. There was, you had the aspect of Reese's brain pattern seemingly being transported into the music box, and was it Allison, the sister? Was that her name? Who basically found it at the end of the war and the Blitz when they fell down the well with her brother. Somewhat of a morbid story in the sense that not only are characters off screen being murdered, the main villainess of the piece actually commits suicide at the end. You're like, wow, well, there you go. There's something for the adults. Put the women and children to bed. Jeez. But, it's not a bad story, but it's, unless that the Countermeasures team that markets your niche, I wouldn't recommend it. Doesn't make them bad. It just means that they're designed for a set market. That's all, folks. And and while it adds to the overall arc of the story, maybe it'd been better with a different spin-off medium in story number 2. But as I say, the leads, you can't complain, and they were just being paid, and they done well with the script that they had. So fair dues to them. Any events or characters or dislikes that stood out for you in this one, folks? Jeff, can you remember anything?
Barely, but then of course I am very old.
Yeah.
What you mean about the Reesinger process?
Yeah. Anything save it?
There was nothing really. I mean, it was solid. It was workmanlike.
Yeah.
But it was totally, completely uninspiring.
Okay.
You know, the actors did their jobs, the sound technicians did their jobs, the sound effects did their jobs, everything went right, but it was just missing that spark.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Lee, anything at all for you, or is it just blah?
I agree with Beef Daddy. It was the spark was missing. I mean, I've only listened to previous story countermeasures with the Assassination Games, that one, and the spark was missing in that. Yeah, the spark was missing in that as well. So for a series of these audios for the countermeasures, they've got to do a lot better to impress me for this. But the acting, as it say, for me, it's the acting, the voice acting in this. As you say, the sound was what the story was about. The story just didn't do it for me at all.
Okay, fair enough. No problem, mate. Jason, you've already highlighted various points, but anything else you'd like to add?
Probably not. I mean, just there's not really much to say. I mean, not really much of this, so yeah, I don't have much of an opinion about it.
Okay. No, not to harp on this too long. I'll just say it's a modest effort. Fair play to the leads, and it does move along the story. That's probably its greatest, the greatest accolade you can give it. It does move along the story. So fair play to everybody involved. And funny enough, this is the only story that Jamie Glover doesn't appear in, as Reese, be it in body form or mad, possessed, psycho, perfect form. So maybe that lent some, credence to the fact that this was probably the weakest of the set. Maybe if we would have got him in there, I might have picked it up a little. But hey-ho, they went down the road they went, and we got what we got. So fair play to them. Thanks for trying, folks, but no for everybody. And we move on. We flash forward to what I assume is supposed to be the current day in some shape or form. The artefacts dug from the well at the end of the countermeasure story has been moved to the vaults of U.N.I.T, where we have Captain Mike Yates acquiring the services of Ruth and Charlie, played by Daphne Ashbrook and to give them some characters, because Fox won't release the bloody rights to a well-known other two characters that we know them familiar for. So this is their third outing as members of U.N.I.T. We had some flashbacks to the previous two stories, so if people got confused here, I'm no surprised. But this was a vast improvement on countermeasures for me, so let's see, where do we begin with this? Okay, Lee, can I have your take on story number 3, mate? The Screaming Skull, Daphne Ashbrook, Yatsu So, and of course, John Levine? Who's in it? Oh, Mike Yates, sorry, yep. John Levine.
You've been drinking.
Richard Franklin, sorry.
Yeah, this was an improvement for me. It's lovely to hear Daphne Ashbrook again, being a different character.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've heard about these characters, because I think it appeared in Companion Chronicles or something.
Yeah, and it was one of the very few instances in the Companion Chronicles range where you actually go similar to what we get in the main range. So
right, yeah. Well, so these characters are new to me. I enjoyed the characters.
Yeah.
It was Mike Yates, brilliant. Captain Yates retired.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story, and as you say, Reese comes back in a totally different type of form.
Yes.
And the way the acting in that's just awesome, I think. Yeah, I like this one. Better than the previous one. So
excellent.
A good one for me.
Off to the races we go. Okay. Jeff, how did this one sit for you, mate? I A tad improved, I gather.
Oh yes. To be perfectly honest, the minute I heard Mike Yates' voice, I thought I'm going to enjoy this. And yeah, Daphne Ashbrook, super as with Matheson. I really enjoyed that. Yuji So doing Charlie Sato didn't seem to have that much to do, which was a shame. But yeah, it sort of lifted it. It just lifted it from basically the sort of static situation in the Riesinger process. It lifted it, and the story just suddenly just came alive again.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I thought, thank God, this is really, really grabbing me. I mean, the title did, The Screaming Skull. I mean, it's a wonderful title. And what was going on there in the unit vault, absolutely brilliant. Loved the concept of it. Really, really loved the concept. And as it moved Reese on as well, it moved Reese's character on.
Yeah.
And yeah, really good.
Excellent. Yeah. Jason, how was this one for you?
This story was definitely a great improvement. I definitely enjoyed this one. Definitely with Charlie and Ruth, I mean, their characters improved in this story. I mean, I definitely really enjoyed them on this one. Mike Yates, definitely top notch. And the Terravores, the bug, I think there's some kind of bug alien creatures, almost sounded like Daleks in a way. Especially Mr. Wee's voice almost sounded like a Davor. So like I'm a little confused what's going on, but it worked pretty well. You got, I guess, there's some cult, mind puppet cults going on here. Everything was so going on in this story. I mean, I was locked into it. Definitely worked out well.
Okay, mate. Thanks for that. Yeah, vast improvement for me. It's good to hear Ruth Matheson and Charlie Sato again. Again, you won't be familiar with them if you delved into the Companion Chronicles later on. This is their sequel outing since their encounter with Jeffrey Beavers as Master, so that explains a few of the references there. Mike Yates, phenomenal in this. He comes out of retirement. There's some sinister goings on in the vault. It's been infiltrated. There's bodies everywhere. And as we come to find out, it's all in pursuit of an old flame and an old love interest. And it's a nice wee take on things. And, you know, it gives me a credence to why he would dive in there and put himself in the line of fire, so to speak, aside for Ruth and Charlie. So yeah, not a bad outing. You got a vast improvement in development of character for Reese, and somewhat of a gory end to this one as well. Along the railroad tracks. Poor Jane. But yeah, that's what happens when you're possessed by a mad psychopath. So on the railway tracks we go, and Casey Jones done its job. Oh dear. And if in any events, characters or instances within this story that stood out for you folks. Jeff, anything stand out for you apart from the torture of the poor Chinese bloke?
Oh, you take all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I really love the references of the, I think it was this one. The trouble is with four of them, about the things being moved from the Tower of London, from the Dark Black Archive, to the unit vault.
Yeah.
That, and was Reese's skeleton the one that was moved from the Black Vault?
The music box, the skull. I don't know if it was. Yeah.
And yeah, that for me, I thought, yeah, okay, yeah, you've taken it out of the Black Vault. That's not probably not a good idea. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Good,
I
good.
did enjoy it. Yeah.
Stupendous. Anything for you, mi amigo?
I like the little things. I like the way Mike Yates was reminiscing at all the artifacts,
Yeah.
From the past, the plastic daffodils and
Mm.
all stuff like that. You think a nod to the past, the gargoyle from the demons and
Yeah.
the brigadier apparently took it into question afterwards.
Was that after they gave it 5 rounds rapid? I can't remember.
It's just a solid story, this one, and as Jason said earlier about the voice of Reese, it is uncannily it does sort of sound like Davros, but it is what it is, and I just enjoyed it.
Excellent, mate. Fantastic. Jason, how about you?
Well, there's no complaints about this one. Like I said, Mike Yates, top notch. Charlie and Woot, great characters, and definitely with Jamie Jamie Glover's character as Mr. Reese, a top-notch villain. I mean, played out well. Definitely enjoyed it. I mean, the story, I was locked into it. I mean, nothing to complain about it.
Champion. With regards to myself, it was the little things for me. Mike Yates trying desperately in vain to destroy the music box before the hour time limit in the vault had elapsed before they all get blown to bits. Some good stuff there. You subsequently find out that he unfortunately failed, which led to Jane's demise, obviously, at the end of the story. When he was getting basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Dare I use the term mind probed by Reese to extract all his information, trying to hide information, obviously, about the Doctor and his past events before he's turned into one of the puppets. I also like the fact, as much as we didn't like the, I wouldn't say, as much as we weren't a fan of the countermeasure story, I was quite relieved to see that they linked it somehow with bringing back the device that snapped him out of it. The gun. That was quite good and a nice wee tie-in. You also get Jago and Litefoot with their cameo appearance through the what's that? The photo? What do you call that machine? Anybody?
Radiogram.
The radiogram. You get their cameo as well. They'll make another cameo in the final story. But yeah, it's always good to throw wee things in there and keep things linked. And it really shows you that if it's done well enough, you can have 4 stories and boom, you're off to the races. So yeah, all in all, vast improvement on story number 2. And what the hell, get Daphne Ashbrook and Yuji back in. I quite like those characters. They're slowly beginning to forge themselves secondary characters within the Whovians, much like Katie Manning and Lisa Barrowman. So yeah, why not? Bring them back sometime. Interesting concept, good characters, nice story all round. And from that, the situation has got ever more dangerous and fraudulent. Mike Yates has had enough, and it's Red Code 1, I believe, and he has to call in an old friend, the Doctor. At the same time, President Romana on Gallifrey is picking up some readings, which she's not too happy with in the timeline and the web of time and whatnot, and she sends Leela to investigate. Ironically, they arrive at various points. Leela gets possessed, and a whole bunch of melee ensues as Colin Baker's 6th Doctor and Mike Yates try to suffer through the mess. Second Sight, story number 4. Lee, can I get your opening thoughts on Second Sight, please, mate, to wrap up this not bad box set?
Second Sight. Yeah, it's I don't know what to think of this one. It's sort of a.
It's weird because it combines Doctor Who with the Gallifrey series, and again, if you've not heard the Gallifrey series, it can get a tad confusing. But the only saving grace is it's Romana and Leela, so people know who that is.
Oh yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. It seemed to me it was more of a search for Leela's story. That's what just looking for her all the time. But that seemed to me just to go on like that, and nothing happened. They were just looking for her and found her, and then they lost her again, sort of thing. But it's a good enough story.
Okay.
That's my opening thought.
Well, simple there. Nice. Jeff, how was this for a bookend for you, or was it no?
Yes.
Yes, it was, mate. Yes, it was.
One of the things that got me was at the beginning of it, it is the only one out of the 4 that starts with the Doctor Who theme,
Yeah.
because it has a doctor in it. So I thought, oh, we've got a doctor. Glad it was Colin Baker, because he worked so brilliantly on audio. Louise Jameson, Leela, well, you always get top notch. Yeah. Lalla Ward as Romana, the second Romana. Yep, great. She sounds authoritative, and I'm trying to remember, was this the one with Group Captain Gilmore in it?
No, that was Countermeasures.
Oh, Captain, no, it wasn't.
Gilmore?
Yeah, Simon Williams. But never mind.
Yeah, that was Countermeasures. He was in Simon Williams.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was the only thing that made the Countermeasures one bearable for me.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Ding, ding. Yeah, I told you, memory.
Yeah.
Age. And, yeah, the whole concept changed.
Yep.
And it really became true science fiction, rather than just the old mental doolally bit.
Yes.
It did became real science fiction, and for that I absolutely loved it. And all the way through it, I was thinking to myself, basically what they want to do is get hold of that music box and drop it in a bloody volcano.
Well, there you go. Ding dong.
And it was the perfect end to the story.
Excellent. Ding dong bell pushes in the volcano. Doesn't exactly have a rhyme to it, but there we go. Jason, how was this one for you, mate? Opening thoughts.
I was hooked on this story. I mean, definitely top notch with Ramona too, and Leela, and had Mike Gates in it again, and the Doctor. I mean, definitely enjoyed some funny moments with the Doctor on this one. I think there's some kind of restaurant place or whatever, with some people in the background and all that, but the silly stuff going on. But yeah, knowing the fact that the Doctor and I guess Mike Gates going into the unit base, where I think it was the Bandit, I think, and going back to the old places of it. Hearing then I think Mike Gates using the recorder of Lightfoot and Jago, and the Doctor recognized them, and the whole issue about Mr. Reese. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was definitely a top-notch villain in this full-part story, and I definitely really enjoyed it. No complaints about it. It worked out its way all the way to the end. I mean, definitely great.
Excellent, mate. Yeah, good resolution from me. Obviously, second sight was Colin Baker. You know, Richard Franklin, Louise Jameson, the Lalla Ward. And we have Jamie Glover back again as, was it Dr. Tommy Lynn? Was that the character's name he possessed in this? Was it Tom O'Lynn?
Tom O'Lynn.
Tom O'Lynn, yes. And I liked how Leela linked it back to the nursery rhyme when she was sitting in her own little doolally world, which was quite nice. I'll give it props in the sense that you get Reese's backstory with regards to the death of his mother and the fact that his father shunned him and wouldn't fix his music box, and you know, a subsequent smack above the head sent him a wee bit doolally, and we were where we were. The resolution, where you know the Doctor uses the telepathic circuits to go into his mind rather than to go back in time, to trap him within his own subconscious, to resolve things. Good way of doing it. But then subsequently, as the transmission had broadcast at the end of the story, it's apparently failed. Or has it? The listener has to be the judge, but it leaves it open for a potential sequel. Not that I believe we'll get one, but that was a nice wee open-ended way to round off the box set for me. I really enjoyed that. The regulars, phenomenal as ever in terms of the leads. You cannot grumble. So, nice way to round things off. And I really enjoyed this one. This is probably the second best story of the set for me. Jago and Litefoot takes that honour, in my opinion. Right, guys, let's quickly get round the bases here because we've been prattling on for a while. Anything within this story stand out for you, character-wise, or dislikes, or events? Lee?
I can't fault Lala. I can't fault Louise or Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Richard Franklin, Mike Yates is brilliant. I mean, you could hear the disappointment in his voice when Colin Baker's doctor turned up. Oh, it's you.
Well, you know what? That confused the hell out of me because I'm sitting there going, all right, hang on, when did you meet that one with the curls? And I was racking my brain, and I'm going, yeah, couldn't remember, but
well,
it's mostly, yeah, they might not have recorded that
it's mostly it's mostly the unit files somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good enough story. As I said, Jamie Glover, brilliant, and the backstory of him as a little kid and killing his father and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. For me, it just didn't go up a level for me on this one. But it's a good end to the box set.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, Jago and Litefoot, for me, I like that one better than this one. But it's good enough.
Do you think time was an issue in this? Had they a wee bit longer to play with? Do you think it would have been any better, or do you think it's just the script?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Well, it was good in some parts, and in some parts it just sort of dipped for me. As you know, as I said before, searching for Leela, finding Leela, losing Leela. You know, it's.
So, I just call it the story of Leela that's missing. Yeah.
Yeah, Leela. I mean, they've called it Second Sight, so they're not the Big Finish are afraid to use story titles again because the Second Sight was a Sapphire and Steel one that did quite well. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, mate. Well, only there was some aspects for it that done it for you, as we always say. Jason, anything for you on this one, mate?
Oh, no complaint about this story. I mean, you went top notch of each of the main characters like Colin Baker and Aleph Ward and Lucy Jameson and Richard Franklin and Jamie Glover. Definitely great top notch with their characters. And with Jamie Glover had to play two characters as Mr. Weeze and Tom O'Lynn. Tom and O'Lynn was definitely an interesting character, especially since what happened to him. But all the way from the end that it was most like Mr. Weeze that had his dislikes on his father and how he ended up murdering his father. But when the doctor ended up going into his mind and how it's all been played out, worked out pretty well, in my opinion, to the point that it stopped the villain itself. And out of all the other companions, I tried to stop this villain when he kept going and going each story. The doctor finally ends it.
Okay,
and
cool.
That works well for me.
Champion, mate. And finally, before myself, Jeff, what did it for you in this final chapter, mate?
I would say the incidental music. It was really, really good. It held things. It bonded things together without being too obtrusive. And I found myself listening to it and thinking to myself, should you be listening to the incidental music? Why not? I always have. But he wasn't taking anything away from the acting or the storytelling. In fact, I think it was enhancing it. So yeah, I would go thumbs up on the incidentals on this.
Second Sight gets a super duper thumbs up for its score. Nice. Excellent, mate. And as I say, not to harp on or repeat what I've already said, but a nice way to round this off. All the pieces of the puzzle seemingly fit together. You get everything tied up in a nice little bow, and the regulars here, phenomenal as ever. But again, guys, we can only advise. You have to be the judge. 4 stories, 1 overall arc, 1 box set. You be the judge, guys, and let us know how you get on. Groovy. Right, guys. Quick open mic portion. Anything else you wish to bring up regarding this box set?
Yeah, as I said, I missed it out at the time, but Simon Williams as Group Captain Gilmore.
Yes.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, that guy always, doesn't matter what he's playing, he's absolutely bang on. And it was just a joy. I mean, I haven't sort of seen anything of him since I watched him on British television about a million years ago when I was younger.
Getting your age away, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, do I care? But yeah, really good. And Jamie Glover holding it together all the way through, but advancing his character all the way through as well. Really, really well done. I think an excellent job.
Yep, totally agree.
They were the 2 directors, Ken Bentley and Lisa Bowerman, I think did a brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant job.
I like the Screaming Skull section where it's sort of a take on the Dirty Dozen mission.
Oh yeah.
If you survive, you've won your pardon. You're free to go. I mean,
that's right.
You can see where the influences have come from, and it's good where they can just borrow things from other media.
So
it's brilliant.
It's always good they can put their own spin on things, and not get sued.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. Excellent. So that's folks.
I do like that scene about in the story 3 about the recordal of Jago and Litefoot. That had me on laughs. I mean, just with them just arguing a bit and just explaining about Mr. Reese. I mean, still that part just made me laugh on that one.
Excellent. All right, guys. The 5th member of our group, Texas Tim, has been detained this evening. So I will get together with him and I will put these very tough questions to him. And with that, it's ratings time. The World of Doctor Who, Big Finish, 50th, Jesus, not that old, 15th anniversary special. Colin Baker, amongst various others, because if I listed them all, I would be here all now. So, kudos to all the cast. Ratings time. We'll take it 1 story at a time, and then you can rate the overall box set, guys, if you wish. Might and Games, Jago and Litefoot. Jason, what do you give out of 10?
I give it a 9.8 out of 10.
Excellent.
Great top-notch story.
Mr. Wilson, how about you?
I'm going to give it for Mind Games a 9.
9 out of 10 for Mind Games. Jeffrey, what do you
For me, a 9.5.
9.5. And I will completely agree with my friend over there in Germany. It's 9.5 for me. And those 2 are bloody awesome. Ooh, love me. Yeah. Okay, from the highest of highs to some respectable mediocrity, I assume. Countermeasures. The recent process. Jeffrey, be gentle.
It was workmanlike. It's a 7.5.
7.5. Oh yeah, now. Jason?
The second story, might have to give it way down low because how it was. I might have to give it to a 4 to 10.
Ooh, a 4. There's a knock at the door. Oh well, each to their own, folks. Henley.
The re-singer process. just because of Pamela Selim, Simon Williams, and Hugh Ross. Please, somebody tell me where I've heard his voice.
Yeah, put it in the comments, goddammit. We can't remember these things. We're drinkers. Yeah.
It's gonna be niggling away at me all the time now. And going back to the score, yeah, it's not as good as the others. I'm gonna go 7 as well.
Okay, 7. Nice. And I'll give it a super sexy 6, just for a nice effort. As I say, the cast, you can't grumble. It just, with the tone and the genre, it might not be for everybody. Story number 3, The Screaming Skull. U.N.I.T. / Tales from the Vault Folk. Lee, what do you give it?
I'm gonna score it the same as Mind Games. So the Screaming Skull gets a 9 from me. An enjoyable story.
Champion. Jason, how about you?
I give this a 9 out of 10. Definitely another enjoyable story for World of Doctor Who.
Excellent. And Jeff, how about you?
Seems fairly unanimous. I was going to give it a 9 as well.
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
Yep.
And hopefully Texas doesn't kill me later when I say hopefully the set's complete. I'll get a 9 as well. So hopefully he will. And the set will be complete. But there we go. And finally, Second Sight. Lee?
For me, I didn't enjoy it as much as Mind Games and the Screaming Skull, but it's still a damn good story. Acting from everybody in it, brilliant. So for me, it's just going to go down 1. It's going to be an 8.
An 8. And I need to step away for a sec. Jason, give us your score.
This one, I will slip it up a bit to a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, definitely another great story. Enjoyed the performance of each character of it. So, yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's a good box set.
Yeah, it was. I actually enjoyed it. Like, I mean, if they would have worked better with the second story, I mean, yeah, everything else is good on this one.
And I don't know what they could have put. I don't know what they could have put there if they wasn't going to go for the countermeasures team. I don't know what type of audios they would have done.
What's this?
I'm just saying, Graham, that if there wasn't going to go down the countermeasures route for story 2, I don't know what other audio team they could have put there.
Yeah, good point, actually. 2013, I just try to think of the ranges that they could have used. Could have probably used Benny.
Could have done, yeah.
You know.
And he's back.
And thanks for that, Jason. Jeff, can we have your rating on the final story?
Final story, yes. I enjoyed this. It tied up a lot of loose ends and then threw you a little loose thread right at the very, very end.
Yes.
Cause I think they just couldn't resist it. I can understand that, but no, it gets an 8.5. This one.
8.5, champion, big man. And for myself, to round off this nice little 15th anniversary box set, I'll give Second Sight a 9. Not bad, you know. Good round off to the full story. And what the hell, bring back Jamie Glover down the road. It might have been a one-half character, but he made a big enough impression whereby, you know, who knows? It's Doctor Who. Nothing's set in stone. Time can be rewritten. All that guff. Lovely jubbly. Well, folks, done, dusted, and somewhat of a lengthy one. The editing on this should be very enjoyable. Not to mention the inserting when I get a hold of a texting friend. In the can. Next week, we're going back to the regular format. We're going back to the main range and another story with Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor. And we're going to have a wee tale, the first of 2 tales with everyone's favourite shape-shifting penguin in the guise of Frobisher. And a little ditty entitled, Lee?
Yeah, it's time to pick up a coin for in the Holy Terror.
And McVitie's Please Don't Sue. So yeah, the Holy Terror. It's been a while since I've heard this one, so I'll not speculate on it. I'm going to have to get a re-listen, but if I recall, it's a nice one, and it should be very, very interesting. So we hope you can join us for that. Gentlemen, as always, can I thank you for your lengthy attendance here this evening in light of a 4-story box set. It's not exactly been half an hour. I think we're running close to an hour here. So yeah, thank you for your attendance, as always. Always a pleasure to talk to the audios. As always, guys, we're on various aspects of the social media. We're on Twitter at Whovians_podcast. We're on the Facebook, and we're on the Google+. Shout out to our regular buddies, Dr. Freedom, Sammy Carter, Johnny Blues, and whoever the hell else you like on the wacky and wonderful world of YouTube. You know, go check them out, good stuff. And all that's left for me to say is we wish you all a safe and prosperous week, folks. Hopefully this isn't too long for you. We hope you've had a good Easter with your families, whether it's just the stuff you sell with chocolate or whether it has some type of religious connotation to you. That's entirely up to you, and we hope you've had a good one. Enjoy the remainder of your holiday weekend, folks. Be safe and keep on hooing. Adios, guys, and good night. And don't overdo it on the chocolate. Hey, guys, and welcome to this tacked-on bonus segment for our Worlds of Doctor Who audio cast for this past Sunday. I am joined this afternoon by Texas Tim Wells. He unfortunately couldn't join us in the evening in light of some internet trouble. How are we doing, Tim?
Hello there.
Good to have you, man. And let's, you may be late to the party, but let's get your punch down, shall we? The Worlds of Doctor Who. Let's see what you think of this one, mate. Story number 1. Obviously was in the Jago and Litefoot range with Mind Games. Can I get your opening thoughts on that one, please, mate?
It was very good. It's the only one in the box that's a standalone story in a way, because you could listen to that story as part of a Jago and Litefoot box set without worrying about what follows. It's an average episode for them in a way, but because their episodes are always good, so it succeeds as an opener. I really like the idea that this sets up things that'll get picked up over 100 years later by a different group of people. Yeah. And that's really cool. I think it's a great intro to the set. I really like the fact too that they get they show up later and they're with their wax cylinder recording. They have a little cameo in the following episode and the one after that because of their warning that they have recorded to future generations to watch out for this beastie. So yeah, it's very cool. Very good opening.
Great, mate. Fantastic. Any events, characters, circumstances, or dislikes to the story that stood out for you, mate?
As always, Jago and Litefoot are always entertaining. It's a great set. It's a great idea for a spinoff, and it's very successful. They're about to come up on, I think, their 11th or 12th box set in just over a few years.
11, yeah.
11, and it's got a great supporting cast with
Jamie Glover.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's the lead baddie, but I was thinking more of
Lisa Barman.
Yeah, Lisa Barrowman, who plays Ellie, and nobody even knows that's her because she puts a fake voice on.
Yeah,
she's very good though. And then their other friend, I can't remember his name, the sergeant that helps them out. He's kind of a Lestrade type character, but it's a very good spinoff of Doctor Who. It's a very successful one. So yeah, it's top notch.
Great, mate. Fantastic. All right. What do you guess 1 out of 10, Tim?
Are we rating them separately? Well,
no, just for a change of pace this week, guy. You know.
This one's a 10 then. I have no problem with it.
10 out of 10 for Texas Tim on Mind Games. Superb. And then we flash forward to the 1960s with the Countermeasures crew. It's the Reese process. Opening thoughts on this one, Tim?
It's very clever. I mean, this strikes me. I'm very unfamiliar with this series. I haven't bothered to listen to any since. But this is it seems to be a sort of 60s spy espionage type program, similar to maybe The Saint or The Persuaders. One of those ITV shows. It seems to be the model they're going for. And these are the same characters we met in the Sylvester McCoy Dalek episode. I can never remember which title is which.
Remember the
Daleks, and they're very good. This story is a good it's good that it picks up the threads of the Jago and Litefoot story, and it runs with him a little bit. It picks up the story with this creature who is now possessing people, or still possessing people, making them do terrible things. It's a bit less compelling than the first episode.
Yeah.
I'm aware that some might have had issues with it, but to be fair, not every spinoff is for everybody, and I think it's noble of Big Finish to keep making these stories for people that are interested in listening to them. That's the whole point. I mean, what we have here is, on the whole, is a Doctor Who story where the Doctor walks in the last 10 minutes and fixes everything. I mean, in other words, it's up to the spinoff people to sort the story out before we even get to him, which is really cool.
All right, cool. Any events or characters that stand out for you in this one? Obviously, you're not familiar with them, with the exception of that TV episode, but anything stand out with you?
Well, the lead cast is good. It's sad that Simon Williams sounds so much older than he does. but you know what? That's the gravity of age, and it catches up with everybody. He is, but it's a good little team. I don't know if it actually gives you a full representation of what they do, because it seems like they almost feel like guest characters in their own story in a way, I might think, because it's so busy carrying on the mystery of the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is what one of their average episodes would sound like. You know what I mean? And it does set things up for part 3, though, in a pretty good, interesting way, because her name is Rachel. She creates a machine or something that the following characters use in their part of the story. So it continues, you know.
Yeah. Nice wee thread running throughout. All right, mate. The recent process. The you out of 10?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Highest one of the lot. I think the highest we had for the guys was a 7. So, well, there we go. Good on you. And then we flash forward to what I assume is the current day. We have Mike Yates coming out of retirement with the U.N.I.T. / Tales from the Vault team, where the return of Daphne, Ashbrook, and yet So, albeit as different characters, thanks to Fox. We'll get into that. Opening thoughts on this one, mate. The Screaming Skull.
Oh, I love the title. It's a brilliant title. This is an unusual one for Big Finish because it's not representing any actual spin-off at this point, because the Vault characters have appeared twice before, as far as I know.
Yep.
But they don't really have their own series going or box sets going like the other two we've listened to. And as far as U.N.I.T. goes, this is a full couple of years before they get their hands on the television unit.
Yeah.
So it's an odd one. It's an odd one. But it's a good idea. It's a good idea that they bring Mike Yates back for something, because he has little to do. He's one of the few survivors of the Pertwee era. And it's good that he gets to come back. And it's good that they get to resurrect these characters who were, last time we saw them, pretty much befuddled by the Master. And U.N.I.T., of course, just locked them away somewhere on a beach somewhere, on an island, and pretty much left them to be forgotten, you know. So this gives them an opportunity to resurrect their careers, so to speak. So it's cool.
Excellent. All right. What's in it for you in this one, mate? Anything character-wise? Deaths everywhere. That was a busy Vault.
It was very unusual. It's but it's interesting though. It's a good one. It might have went on a little too long, I think. And I don't think Richard Franklin can help but be camp at the best of times. he's just not that convincing as a commanding soldier sometimes. But I'm not criticizing him. He's a very nice actor and a very good. He's a very good character. Yates actually had a lot of character development in the TV series, considering he kind of got brainwashed and betrayed them, and then kind of had to come back from that. So one thing that did stand out though is that when his brain was being invaded by the villain, they gave a little shout out to the BBC audios, the Nest Cottage, which they didn't have to do, which was kind of cool of Big Finish to acknowledge that yes, there are some other stories out there that we didn't make that have the character of Yates in it, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this story was a great transition from the first two to the last and final one, because it ends with they've done the best they can, but they can't figure it out, so they got to call the doctor.
Yes, if in doubt, call the doctor. So the Screaming Skull, what do you get out of 10, mate?
A 9.
9 out of 10 for the Screaming Skull. Thank you, Tim. So yes, as you mentioned at the end of this one, all hope is lost. And Mike Yates calls in the big brass seeds with the rainbow-coloured coat. At the same time, Romana's kind of pissed on Gallifrey with some reading she's get. So she sends Leela to investigate on her side of things. And then it's we, rather jokingly, alluded to on the cast on Sunday night. The story somewhat comical becomes Leela is missing, or the search for Leela to a small degree. So, opening thoughts on this one, mate. Second sight.
Well, this is basically a Gallifrey spinoff because you're using the main characters from Gallifrey to tell a story with the Doctor involved. But on the other hand, it's an episode of Doctor Who. They do use his opening music and closing music, and not Gallifrey. So I mean,
you still got Meg Yates in there as well. So
yeah. Plus they bring in, it's basically the characters from Gallifrey are off on their own adventure away from Gallifrey. This doesn't take place on Gallifrey.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to tie everything together, isn't it? I mean, it's great to have the Doctor. It's funny that Mike is initially disappointed that it's that one.
Yeah, we mentioned that too. Yeah.
And of course the Doctor's like, what do you mean? Who else would you want? But it's a lot of fun. I mean, for one thing, Romana, it's amazing how good Lala Ward is in this because she plays two different Romanas. There's the traveling with the Doctor Romana, happy-go-lucky, fun-having, a bit bossy, but you know what I mean, always out for an adventure, This is Madam President Romana of Gallifrey, and she's a total bitch. I mean, no, for real. Anytime she walks into a room, it's just,
these people again.
God, what now? She's always doing that kind of thing. She gets mad and bosses people around, and she doesn't have time for Mike Yates at all. She pretty much ignores him. She just bosses everybody around, which is cool. That's how she should be. I mean, she's a great character, and Lala plays two different Romanas. When she's playing Romana with Tom Baker, like she is now in this current season, it's the whole. That's the fun traveling Romana. This one is Madam President, and she doesn't have time for any BS. I mean, that's what's cool. She's only nice to the Doctor and Leela in this, pretty much, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a cool story. This is a cool way to wrap everything up. The only thing that's kind of really last decade is the whole daddy issues thing at the end of it.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I guess they had to go there. I guess there had to be some reason why this.
Yeah, I mean, they had to delve into his backstory, I guess, and that's what they chose to go with. So, I guess it worked for the whole psychological thing, I suppose. But yeah, that's type of a 90s thing. You're right. Any characters that stand out for you? But Jamie Glover was obviously back as not just as Reese, but was it Tom Owen in this? Is it a scientist? So
yeah, he was very good throughout the set. I think he gets a little bit overshadowed in this one because it's not every day you get to have the Doctor with Romana and Leela, and in this case, Leela's not even really herself. I mean, she's been taken over.
Yeah,
and like Lee pointed out, I guess that it's the mission to find Leela pretty much, and it's all done very well though. I think this ties everything together pretty cool. It's great that the Doctor leaves with his two ex-best friends. I mean, it's like you want to see what happens next. You want to have Big Finish come up with a box set later. It's 60 with Romana and Leela. I mean, that'd be brilliant. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was just a taxi service. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, mate. So, second sight. What do you rate this sucker?
I'll give this one a 10.
10 out of 10. And we're done, folks. Plain, simple, and to the point. Tim, thanks for taking a couple of minutes out of your day so I could tack this into the old video for this week. And myself, along with Texas, will see you guys along with the rest of the group on Sunday for the Holy Terror. All hail Frobisher.